TNT has a glitzy playoff doubleheader on Monday night, starting at 8 Eastern. Heat and 76ers from Philly. Then at 10:30, the Spurs and Warriors from Oracle in Oakland. It all starts at 7 with Game Time on NBA TV. And here's Pop from Sunday when asked if Kawhi could return in the playoffs.
You'll have to ask Kawhi and his group that question. You know, so far they say that he's not ready to go.
Is there any?
So we can't do anything until that happens. Then we would have to decide what's going on from there. But that's the first, thing that has to happen.
Any value, even if he's not playing, to have him on the bench with the guys?
He's rehabbing right now in New York, trying to get healthy.
And according to multiple reports, Kawhi Leonard is not expected to return for the Spurs during the playoffs. So does this news come as a blow to the Spurs, or do you think they've already sort of mentally moved on without Kawhi?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's a blow, definitely, but I think they've already mentally moved on. The playoffs have started. He hasn't been around. He hasn't played with them for a while. So, they're trying to figure out how they can beat the Golden State Warriors. And, if Kawhi would have came back, they definitely would have welcomed him. But I think Pop is in a very difficult position because he's trying not to blow up the bridge, right? So if Kawhi decides to come back, he's still trying to leave a bridge there for him to come back because he knows that at some point in time, they're going to have to sit down and talk. And I think in his mind and in the Spurs' mind, they're hoping for some type of reconciliation.
I think the players have mentally moved on. When they had that players-only meeting where everybody came in and they talked to Kawhi about the situation and it didn't get resolved and nobody left out of there with any answers, you heard guys like Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker saying they don't feel that Kawhi's coming back this year. So obviously when they had this type of intervention, which I've never seen before, I've never seen in 14 years, I've never seen a players only intervention where they're trying to convince a guy to play or see how healthy he is. So I don't really know what's going on here. Kawhi's reputation is beyond reproach, so I don't want to step out there and say anything crazy because I don't really know what's going on. But you can see by the way Pop answered those questions, there's a little bit of something going on between Kawhi's group and the San Antonio Spurs. We don't know what it is, but right now you hit it right on the head. They don't want to burn this bridge because they still want Kawhi to be a part of this team.
Yeah. Has Kawhi Leonard played his last game as a Spur?
I would say the odds are leaning towards that being the possibility, that he's played his last game. Because right now, when you talk about the intervention, you're talking about players very rarely question or have an intervention around an injury, right? There's an intervention around emotion, but very rarely do players, come in and say, oh, well, this guy's not hurt or whatever. You just don't do that. If a guy says he's hurt, okay, he's hurt. You give him the benefit of the doubt and you keep it moving. Right now, it seems to be, what's going on here, because this is weird. It's just flat out weird in a lot of ways.
I think we've seen the last of Kawhi in a Spurs uniform. By the way Pop was answering those questions, by the way he's been distant from the team. I know he's rehabbing in New York, but the fact of the matter is it's the playoffs. You can do your rehab in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And right now he's not around the team. When they had the intervention, the team didn't get any answers. I'm not sure how they're going to repair this bridge. And I'm not sure who damaged the bridge first, whether it was something that happened behind closed doors, because we both know things happen behind closed doors. Players get misdiagnosed at times, and they don't feel comfortable with the team's trainers. So all types of different things happen behind closed doors that we're not privy to that type of information. But when I see the little jabs being thrown back and forth in the media, it leads me to believe that Kawhi Leonard is no longer going to be a part of the San Antonio Spurs organization come next season.
And let me say this about sports injuries and injuries in general, right? If you got injured, you go get a second opinion, right? Well, for us as athletes, right, sometimes it's frowned upon for us to get a second opinion about, our bodies, our health, so forth and so on. General public, right, somebody tells you, you need a surgery, you say, okay, well, let me go see another doctor, and you compare. But in sport, it's almost taboo for us to basically get a second opinion. And now if those opinions differ, right? If the organization doctor or the house doctor says that you're okay, but your second opinion doctor outside of the house, who's more independent, says you're not okay, then chances are you probably are going to side with the independent doctor who has nothing to benefit in this situation. The house doctor, you're always going to be a little leery of. That's been the nature of sports since its existence. But for the general public, you get to have the second opinion.